Hello, everybody from the community of Galaxy Viewers. Today we have some really amazing news over the current state of the new Galactic Legends. We have some new information that is coming over from Galactic War Report that is going to mention that we're going to look over through and gonna see like the new updates that they're talking about, the new events for both Palpatine and Luke, and what their kits look like and how their performance will look like in the metagame. So if you look over to this Reddit post that was done by username BaroDakei, huge shout out for him to make this a written post. Let's upvote, of course. It says here that he tried to dilute it as much as possible, and we've got a pinpoint version of it, so we can just look into it this way. And there's also a link that will be down in the description below of the original video that the Galactic War Report has done. And it says this: so general ultimate on both Galactic Legends is a transformation into a new mode rather than an attack. As we know, Kylo does an AoE, Rey does also an AoE that deals true damage. This will be more of a stance, which also Kylo gets into, and as well Rey, right? But this one is mode. I'm interested in seeing what that looks like, considering that the old Galactic Legends, I guess they're old, right? They're March and they're already old. Already have that sort of stance, but it's just during that part. I wonder if this mode stays for longer. Developers wanted to move on to the next two important characters after in Kylo, two opposing characters, so Luke and Emperor Palpatine would do the same thing, or whichever names they would have, Luke and Palpatine, we can just go that way. And they want them to be as powerful to reflect their states in the final film, and wanted them to reflect their transformations both characters went through during the film. So the most important things is that both characters have kits to reflect each other, play off each other, so they're effective counters to one another, and the developers worked with Rey and Kylo's kits when developing the kits for the new Galactic Legends to allow for counters between all four. So if you already have Galactic Legend Rey or Kylo, you should be in a nice position, considering that they're going to release Luke and Palpatine now, because they should be able to counter each other, and we get a four-way meta, which seems incredibly interesting. So they all will have a similar power level. The one thing I'm still very doubtful on is that Palpatine is going to get a Sith tag and Luke is going to get a Jedi tag, because a Jedi Master Luke and a Sith Eternal not having Jedi and Sith tags respectively would be hilarious and bad. It would be hilariously bad. But I'm wondering, because this releases the Ravens to the Wild, it releases Darth Malak's, it releases General Skywalker's into the compositions that they work with synergy. So we'll see how that looks like. So the developers are conscious of which characters are good, and there's the same ticket system. Dual system is confirmed to not return. So if you didn't like rock paper scissors, well, that's not coming back. And you will be able to use the GL's ultimate to earn the ultimate ability mats, so that looks like it can be easier, but we're gonna go back to it in a bit later. Both characters were designed thematically first and then had kits built around them. Okay, now, so fun facts: 45 characters are needed, or I guess they're not a fun fact, right? It's requirements. But it's a fun fact as well, because you're eventually gonna need it. So 45 characters required at 7 stars for Jedi Master Luke, and for Sith Eternal Emperor, just 19. And developers have looked at the data. Okay, that is not the things that we're really looking into. The things we're looking into is what the events and what it does into the metagame, right? And so developers wanted to mirror the Rey and Kylo events, but took a lot of the community feedback from these previous events, see dual system. So Jedi Master Luke Skywalker's event, first 3 tiers are Return of the Jedi, and final 3 tiers are the Battle on Krayt versus Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Encounter 1, Luke and R2 versus the Jabba Thugs, so when episode 6 is about to start. Then Encounter 2, Skiff's Han, Chewie, and Lando costumes change to film costumes on one skiff against Boba's Fett on the other skiff. And they disable Chewie specials because they would be fighting on different skiffs. So that's kind of interesting. So it's like this Old West kind of thing where they're just shooting each other. That looks interesting. And Han has 13 turns of Carbonite blinds until it probably ends. So it's, if it was similar to JKL's event, when you need to wait this amount of turns until you can escape, right? Maybe you need to wait 13 turns until you can win by having your Han Solo doing something over to to Boba Fett, and then drag him to the Sarlacc. And later encounters Luke versus Darth Vader, so I'd assume, and the Emperor in the throne room from Return of the Jedi. I'm assuming this would be encounter 3, because then 4, 5, and 6 would be battle on Crate. So we're gonna have a Luke versus Vader and Emperor, and then the event has 3 Jedi that appeared to Luke at the end, of Return of Jedi. So old Hoda, Old Ben, and Anakin. Interesting. Loaned for the event because he's not a requirement. So overall, that is quite interesting. Overall, what I'm curious about is how are they gonna do the duel mechanics, because it's no longer a duel, right? But how they're gonna do the Luke versus Vader and Palpatine, and how they're gonna bring on the other Jedi, as in loans, as in Hoda, Old Ben, and Anakin. Sith Eternal Emperor event. Encounter 1, Episode 3 Mace and the other Jedi Masters confronting Darth Sidious. Player must solo 4 Jedi. Mace has a different form of Shatterpoint in this event to treat him like a mini boss within range. So all of the memes that you ever had with "I am the Senate," you can play through the. So you unlock the Galactic Legend, right? And as soon as you, or before you do the unlock, when you are done with all of the attempts, you can actually just play against the Jedi, right? Just do that tier for fun. It looks so replayable, right? Because murdering Jedi would be fun if you're Sidious, right? So that would be interesting. Encounter 3. So we don't have an Encounter 2, but we have an Encounter 3. Death Star. Same encounter as Jedi Master Luke Skywalker in the throne room, but Return of the Jedi from reverse perspective. So the same way we had Kylo versus Rey, we are going to have, or we had, and then Rey versus Kylo, right? Both between Kijimi and the ship. Then these swap around as well. Then final 3 tiers. Sith Eternal Emperor versus Rey and Ben Solo. So SLKR. But light side and different costumes. So this is SLKR. Interesting, right? Because that means that is a powerful kit, and that makes you question if how strong Sith Eternal Emperor is if he can beat both of these characters. Rey gets the buff I am all the Jedi, which is form of the leadership abilities of all the Jedi who speak to her during episode 9 except Adigalia. But wow, that's so fun, right? Apart from Kenan doesn't have a leadership ability. But for example, you join in General Kenobi's leadership into Anakin Skywalker's or JKA's, or into Ahsoka's. So you get a lot of dodges, you get a lot of offense, you get a crit chance from Mace's lead as well, or crit damage, I think it was chance. Interesting stuff, right? Because then she would be all the Jedi. Also, no Jedi tag on Rey. There is also a new mechanics button during Sith Eternal Emperor's event next to the lore button, stating that Ben Solo cannot be defeated until Rey is below half health, and vice versa. And you cannot defeat Ben Solo until Rey is below half health. So, increasing complexity through higher tiers. Interesting. I'm sure there will be a fine way of doing it, but I'm curious on how that one goes. Then we got Sith Eternal Emperor, attached to the Omen harness at the start of battle. Ultimate is Emperor stepping off the Omen harness as the Sith Eternal Emperor, ready Gucci sweater palps, and Palpatine can manipulate the numbers of opposing characters. Now what does manipulate the numbers mean? Is he reducing the amount of stacks of a certain ability, like Siphon? Probably not, right? Because they need to be balanced. But other things that are very stack based, say courage, say protection up on that Padme team, for example, would those be manipulated and would be lowered? That is interesting. New Deceived debuff that spreads like plague, or I'd guess extortion as well, to reflect him being the puppet master behind the scenes the whole time. Sith Eternal Emperor can't be targeted by characters with Deceive, and each one contributes to his ultimate charge. So that's interesting, right? So there is this Mon Mothma-ish mechanic where you can't target Sith Eternal Emperor, and you have this room to try to, well, lock him down before he starts putting his Deceived mechanic. The problem is He's gonna be super fast, right? Because that's how the Galactic Legends Ray and Kylo were, right? So they should be really fast out the gate. You should open up with Deceived, and you can't target him with a particular debuff, which would be Fracture, for example, if you'd like to do it on Sith Eternal Emperor. And then it also says that Sith Eternal Emperor can link enemy characters, which does nothing until one of the characters dies. His unique causes protection damage at the start of his turns. They also can't critically hit, so there is the gas condition, and deal less damage plus more. So I wasn't really sure of what this linking does or how strong it is until Ultimate. When SC transforms Ultimate, all linked characters are instantly defeated by called Power! Unlimited Power! Apart from the other GLs. So if you link as many characters as possible, I'm assuming that the link has something to do with the Deceive debuff, then what is gonna happen is that you can just annihilate 4 characters at a time if they don't have a Galactic Legend in it. And if you don't use the Galactic Legend to counter Palpatine, then what's most likely gonna happen is that they're just gonna die. Various other abilities are named using iconic lines, including Palpatine's Whole Time Lights. So in Palpatine's Whole Time Lights, so be it, Jedi. And then you also got Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. Doesn't do a lot combat-wise, so he doesn't fight much. So he'll be a real legit support character. First move Jedi Master Luke Skywalker can make is his ultimate at 100% charge that he must activate. Might just be for the event. So we do not know if he starts with his ultimate at 100%. A bit similar to the Finalizer, right? Where the Finalizer can start with its ultimate. We don't know if Luke can start that way. But ultimate from Luke is projecting himself, gaining ridiculous buffs for the rest of the battles. So I'm assuming that these buffs, he could spread them out to the team. A bit like Grandmaster Yoda does. And Luke is a very defensive-based character until he transforms, and after that looks like he starts going ham. And Luke has lessons and legacy from the Jedi Masters to give to teammates. Lessons become legacies. This part's slightly unclear. So lessons into legacies could have a bit of this progression system mechanic that Mon Mothma also had with the Rebel Officer, right? Where the summoned Rebel could increase in terms of what he can do from I would think it was from soldier to officer to commander, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've got these lessons that become legacy, so they have this buff for lessons, and then when it's legacy, it's even better, right? Hopefully the kit reveals are coming real soon, because this is incredibly interesting, and I'm really curious to see what these ultimates bring into the game, how much you need to what you also need to counter them, which kind of teams will be good against these guys that are not Galactic Legends, which Galactic Legend compositions will be good. For example, will Kylo First Order still be the best team in the game? We'll have to see, and it's looking pretty curious. But we've got one last thing before we go, and that is the trailer itself. That will be in the description down below. So this is Palpatine, of course, in the Battle of Crait that they announced. So it's looking like both of the ultimate battles in here. And this is the ultimate of Luke, projecting himself. And that would be the ultimate on Crait. This would be tier 1 from Palpatine, tier 2 from Luke. And Vader with his choices. I'm also assuming that they reworked Palpatine for the fact that he's gonna be used in this event, right? So this is super interesting, in my opinion, that they just reworked him for the aesthetics of this event to make it look better. I think this is awesome. I think we're in for some kit reveals pretty soon. I think we're in for the Galactic Legends release, even a bit later after that, of course, after the kit reveals, but it's looking pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to this. More Galactic Legends. Why not? Just bring them on. Let's see them in the game. It's more stuff to see. You know, I'm personally not in a position where I'm able to attain either of these, but I just want to see more people coming in with more theory crafts and whatnot. And there's people that are also already really excited to get either Palpatine or Luke because they've been preparing for it. So the sooner they bring on, the better. And I'll see you guys soon.